Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to begin a brand new retrospective on Lost, starting with a review of Season 1. Before we go any further, I would like to apologize for taking so long with this review. There's been a lot of delays due to network issues, to say the least, but we're back up and running now, and I'm going to continue covering the series. On a side note, I would also like to thank everybody for over 600 subscribers. I couldn't have done it without you guys, and I'm eternally grateful as always. So Lost is a sci-fi adventure drama series that follows the survivors of a commercial jet airliner after it crashes onto a mysterious island somewhere in the Pacific Ocean. It was created by Jeffrey Lieber, J.J. Abrams, and Damon Lindelof. It was produced by Bad Robot Productions and ABC Studios, and it ran for 6 seasons, starting in 2004 and ending in 2010. It was widely acclaimed and is often considered to be one of the greatest TV dramas of all time, and it even went on to influence other TV shows, such as Heroes, The Walking Dead franchise, Flash Forward, Under the Dome, The Leftovers, The 100, Westworld, and more recently, From. Now, I've chosen to dedicate this month to reviewing Lost because September of this year does mark its 20th anniversary, and also because I now consider this to be not only one of the best TV shows I've ever seen, but a comfort show as well, as it helped me get through a very difficult period recently. I started binging it around the beginning of April and finished it more or less about 2 weeks ago. So, with all of that out the way, let's talk about Season 1. So first of all, I can't talk about this season without bringing up the pilot episode, this one being a 2-parter. The first part gets things going straight away with what is often considered to be one of the greatest opening scenes in TV history, presenting the initial aftermath of the plane crash. It raises so many questions as to what's going on. You know, who are these people? What were they all doing on this plane? Where were they going? How exactly did they crash land on this island? And more importantly, what is this island? And this was also one of the most expensive pilot episodes ever produced at the time, with a budget of about $14 million, most of which obviously went towards the plane wreckage, whereas pretty much every other episode of the show costed around $4 million. The rest of the episode, as well as the second part, gives us a basic introduction to some of the show's most pivotal characters, teases a few mysteries here and there, and also establishes the general style and tone of the show. Some people argue that this is the show's best episode. Personally, I disagree, but you can't deny the sheer brilliance of it in terms of writing, in terms of acting, pacing, production values, and so on. I also like the format of the show. You know, each episode typically features a primary storyline set on the island, while flashbacks are interwoven in order to give some insight into a specific character. The show does a great job in blending numerous genres as well. You know, there's elements of adventure, survival, science fiction, supernatural fantasy, and some thriller elements as well. The show is also known for its use of mystery box storytelling, something that J.J. Abrams is both famous and infamous for. But on this show, it worked well enough, especially in this first season. There's a lot of small mysteries set up early on, most of which are paid off throughout the season, and some big ones that you'll just have to wait on as you watch more and more of the show. And this in of itself has often led to a debate among fans whether the creators genuinely had a plan when outlining the series, or if they just made everything up as they went along. Personally, I'd say it's a bit of both, but I'll probably talk about that in one of the later reviews. You know, some things that were set up in the first season genuinely felt like they served a greater purpose in the show, but perhaps the writers made the mistake of setting up too many mysteries all throughout its 6-season run. But again, more on that another time. Of course, this show wouldn't be what it is without the characters, of which there are many on this show. I'm not going to go through every single one of them, just the most important ones. You know, otherwise this video will go on forever. The main protagonist is Jack Shepherd, played by Matthew Fox. Jack is a gifted spinal surgeon who always resorts to his medical skills in order to help his fellow castaways whenever they're in need. Because of his caring nature and strong work ethic, Everyone looks up to him as a leader of sorts. Then you have Kate Austen, played by Evangeline Lilly, who you might recognize as the Wasp from the Ant-Man trilogy set within the MCU. On the island, Kate participates in a leadership role alongside Jack, though she does have a checkered past which she cannot allow her fellow survivors to discover. Sawyer, played by Josh Holloway, is a con man who is disliked for his antisocial behavior, as well as his habits of nicknaming his fellow survivors. This in of itself was a good starting point for the character, especially when you come to learn his backstory, and I think the writers did an excellent job in keeping him interesting during his time on the show. Michael Dawson is a New York artist and construction worker who arrives on the island along with his son Walt and their dog Vincent. He is very protective of the two of them for reasons that you'll understand in the flashbacks dedicated to him. And Michael was played by Harold Perrineau, who has appeared in 2 of the Matrix films and other TV shows such as Oz, Sons of Anarchy, and he's currently the lead actor in the aforementioned TV show From. Let's not forget Charlie, played by Dominic Monaghan, who most people recognize as Merry from the Lord of the Rings trilogy. Charlie is a one-hit wonder rock musician from a band called Driveshaft, best known for their hit single You All Everybody.
You all everybody! You all everybody!
And he spends a significant amount of time with a fellow survivor named Claire, who is currently pregnant, while simultaneously trying to cover up his heroin addiction. Hugo Reyes, aka Hurley, is played by Jorge Garcia, who has appeared in other TV shows such as Becker and Hawaii Five-0. He is essentially the show's comic relief due to his obesity and sense of humor, yet he believes himself to be a source of bad luck based on what we learn in the flashbacks dedicated to his character. There's also Saeed Jarrah, played by Naveen Andrews, who is a former military communications officer, and while his expertise does come in handy sometimes, he does end up in a series of conflicts with some of the other characters. And then of course there's the one character who turned out to be my absolute favorite, and that's John Locke, played by Terry O'Quinn, who is best known for his roles in films such as The Stepfather and Primal Fear, and TV shows such as Millennium, and more recently, The Walking Dead: The Ones Who Live. John Locke is a disabled man whose paralysis is miraculously healed during the initial crash, and being a man of faith, he develops a spiritual connection with the island, which in of itself often leads to him clashing with Jack, who is more of a man of science. And there are some other noteworthy characters as well, such as Jin and Sun, a Korean couple who struggle to communicate with the other survivors due to a language barrier. And of course, Boone and Grace, a pair of step-siblings played by Ian Somerhalder and Maggie Grace. Another noteworthy component of the show is its music, which was composed by Michael Giacchino, best known for scoring several film franchises such as Mission Impossible, Jurassic World, the MCU, J.J. Abrams' Star Trek reboots, a couple of animated Pixar films, a Star Wars film, specifically Rogue One, and even a 2006 first-person shooter video game called Black. So yeah, this guy's done it all, and his music on this show only enhances its blockbuster-like quality. And on top of all of this, I really enjoyed the 3-part finale. It perfectly laid the groundwork for Season 2, ended on a shocking cliffhanger, and the first of many to come, and made it abundantly clear that getting off the island was not going to be an easy task. Now, the one issue I've always had with Season 1 is mainly the pacing. You see, Season 1 spans 25 episodes, and it mostly comprises of setup for what's to come later in the show. The first half is nicely paced, but the second half is where it really starts to drag. And this is made even worse upon a rewatch, especially when you realize how little actually happened this season. And apparently this was the case because the original plan for Lost was supposedly 3 seasons. But the network obviously knew they had a surefire hit on their hands, and so they asked the writers to stretch out the material for as long as they can in order to keep the show on the air for as long as possible. At least for the first 2.5 seasons, more or less. Thankfully, the overall pacing of the show gets better later on to an extent. So yeah, those are my thoughts on Season 1 of Lost. Next time we're going to be looking at Season 2. So thank you all for watching. Please be sure to like the video, share and subscribe. ring the bell, take care, and I'll see you soon.